SDCC 2024 has come and gone, so it's time to move on from talking about toys that we will get in our hands in the future and talk about toys that we already do have in our hands. What's up, Transformers fans? I'm Mondo, and welcome to another Moonbase 84 transmission. And today, let's take a look at the Walmart exclusive Legacy Star Raiders Deluxe Lockdown, or Animated Lockdown. Before we do, it's time for the YouTube begging, so if you could like the video, hit that subscribe button and all that jazz, I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, let's get into the proper video. So I've had Lockdown here for around a week, and I'm going to be honest, it took me a little while to warm up to him, but the more I think about it, the more I think it's because of my disappointment of what I didn't get from the Star Raiders Walmart exclusive, which was Filch. The day they came up for pre-order, I figured Lockdown was going to be the hottest item because I know he's a real popular character from Transformers Animated. Made sure I locked him in, and then later on in the day I said, well, I want that Filch too. She looks really cool, and when I went back, the pre-orders were sold out. So I think when he came in the mail, it kind of reminded me of what I wanted, so that's kind of being greedy, but it kind of hurt my enjoyment of him for a little bit, I want to say. But as I spent a little time with him, messing around with him, I grew to like that disappointment of not getting Filch wore away. And of course, we have Lockdown here in his car mode, and this is my favorite mode for this guy. I think they just did a really good job taking that, I forget which one, but one of the Junkions, and retooling him a bit to give us the Lockdown. I think they did a good job getting his alt mode to look like the animated Lockdown alt mode, obviously. We'll take a closer look. Of course, he's got that Mad Max, like, end of the world type vibe going to him for him, like he always has. Cast in all black plastic. And of course, looking here, you got some nice details for his windows. They're all like armored up. It's really cool. You got his silver exhaust, silver paint for the wheels. Top looks pretty good. Of course, he's got that nice green. A little darker, I believe, if I remember right. Could be wrong. It's been a while since I've messed with the original animated Lockdown, but I think the original green was a little brighter. Of course, his windshield still has that same like red armored type look. I think this might be netting, and this might be like, you know, like armor protecting the windshield. You got his engine, nice and silver, nicely detailed with a hit of red. Got his front, some red paint hits for the lights. Got his grill, and of course that ramming bumper, which is awesome. Of course, you have his spikes, which he's known for, on the side of the hood. And there's that side, which is pretty much the same as the other side. Moving around to the back, it's cool. You get these, they almost look like thrusters, and I love the gold they use for one of them, just on one. Nice little gold trimming. I have his hook, his, you know, tried and true iconic hook. I just plug it in the back for storage. And yeah, he's pretty nice underneath too. Not too bad. And of course, because he's retooled from that Junkion, like I said, I don't remember which one at the moment, I apologize. He can also come apart because the original Junkion was like a weaponizer, and you could take him apart and add him to other bots. And he also has a lot of accessories, which are all on the car. And I already showed you the hook that pops off when you're yanking it. Be careful, because the hook is towards the end. It's kind of I could see it breaking if you put too much pressure in the wrong way. You can take off his exhaust. I'm not going to rip them apart for like the weaponizer thing. These are all accessories that can come into play for Lockdown. You remove his engine like so. And last, you can remove this whole section here and break that apart as well. So a nice little spread of accessories for him, and he does look kind of funny without his little thrusters on the back or the engine. Because trust me, nobody wants to see me stumbling and fumbling transforming Transformers. I always do it off camera, of course. So here is Lockdown in his robot mode. And I will say, because he has that weaponizer gimmick, at least on my copy, sometimes he can be a little frustrating transforming. Is not the actual transformation. It's a nice transformation, but it's because of the gimmick. Because of that gimmick, some of his parts that are meant to take apart tend to fall off. So it kind of gets on your nerves because you're halfway through a transformation and you got to try to plug it all back in as it just pops off. Just something to point out. Hopefully it's my copy and other people don't have the same problems, because the pieces on mine that are meant to come off a little too easy for my taste. Same thing with my Studio Series Cup. But anyway, here he is. he's looking pretty pretty much like Animated Lockdown, but with that, of course, that G1ified, I guess you call it, look. And from like far away, I think he's a good update for Animated Lockdown. What he lacks though is the personality in the face. It'd be cool if they added that like grin of his from the animated show, like they did with the animated Bumblebee. See, I think they got that really spot on with Bumblebee's head and his face, and he's got that little grin. I wish they did that with Lockdown. Here they went with a more serious type look. Like I would say, I guess the best way to call it is G1ified. It's still pretty good. And they'd probably defend that by saying that they're not marketing this necessarily as Animated Lockdown. He's Star Raider Lockdown that has, like, you know, the paint and the design, kind of that aesthetic that he's known for. But I think, and to me, they were trying to say this is Animated Lockdown. But anyway, that's rambling. So they kind of missed the mark. They should have given him that face, a smiling face. But besides that, he's pretty good. More green is shown, different shades of green on his chest and his legs. Take a closer look. Yeah, he does look pretty cool. But if you want him to fit like as a pure replacement for Animated Lockdown, nowhere near as atrocious as their attempts for some of their Legacy Prime Universe figures, though. Still much better in that regard. Here he is from the side. He has these monster flaps for the back of his feet. It does help him stand up, but I think it's kind of ugly. And then not a lot of hollowness. Some here. Well, that's not really hollow, I guess. And then he's got a gap in his backpack you can see through. Just so you know. I mean, that doesn't bother me. The feet were kind of wonky at first, but it is what it is, I guess. Not the best. It does help him stand. Articulation. His head spins. Not really any up or down. He's got shoulders that clonk into his head. Of course, they spin. He's got, look, see, this wants to pop out because of that weaponizer gimmick. But rotate at the elbow and elbow bend past 90. He's got waist. He's got wrist swivel, but mine is really tight, but it does swivel. Slaves do the splits like that. Can't talk, sorry. Rotates at the knee because they pop off. About 90-degree knee bend. And these big honking feet do tilt. And they go forward a little bit. And they go back really far. So a decent amount of articulation, of course, as we've come to expect with modern figures. I already showed his accessories when I took them off in vehicle mode. But yeah, you have different options. He's got ports here, here, on his back to plug them in. I like how this also comes apart, but it's a pain to get apart, so I'm not going to do that. But you could have two blasters. These two blasters has two blasters. I usually put his, how do I do it? I usually put his exhaust up here. See, this is why I don't transform Transformers on camera, because I fumble just putting in accessories. I usually do something like that with his exhaust, just to try to keep everything on the figure. And because of his floppiness, sometimes they're a little bit of a pain to get on. See, I can't even get them on right. Yeah, there we go. I kind of do this. There, so it's a little bit cleaner. I always use this because it's like his EMP. Are we going to get an animated Ratchet? That would be pretty cool, I think, if we did get a Legacy animated Ratchet. We can have him hold it like that, or you can put it on his forearm like so, which is how I usually do it. So that's pretty cool. And then his hook, if I remember correctly, his hook plugs into here, like so. And then you can, how did they have it? Like this, I think. I think you go like this. I think you rotate. I can't remember how I did it. I think you rotate and use both of these ports. To port it on. Yep. It's a matter of lining it up. I screwed that up. Hang on a minute. So I managed to do it. You can't plug it, at least I couldn't, plug it into his forearm and his fist, so he just holds it kind of like a gun pretty much, which is a shame, because if it worked better like that, it would hide this peg a little bit and then look more seamless. More seamless translation, no, transition from his arm. Maybe if they did some engineering and made it kind of like the Gamerverse figures where you pop the forearm off and just pop this piece on, or have it just cover without the pegs. But yeah, so now here he is with all of his accessories. We've got his exhaust, the EMP, and I just plugged this other one in the back. He can be a little asymmetrical. He is locked down. He adds parts and pieces and bobbles to him constantly to improve his weaponry and himself, so that is fitting. And speaking of that, I think that's why to use a weaponizer mold, the Junkion, instead of, if you're not going to do a total retool, was a good idea, because him coming apart makes sense in a way, even though I don't think he would appreciate being parts of other bots, but it does make sense in that regard in a way. So overall, I do have mixed feelings about him. I got over my little baby moment of not being able to score Filch, kind of take away my first enjoyment when I first got him. He just reminded me of what could have been. And if you are interested, he is still up on Walmart.com. I checked today to see if their Filch happened to pop into stock, but he's there. And I believe all the other Star Raiders as well. So Filch was the one, I guess. When you take away that, poutiness of not being able to get Filch, and this is what I got. To me, he's still a mixed. I still have mixed feelings. As I was just saying, that having him be the Junkion that rips apart makes a little bit of sense, but at least on my copy, it makes him a little too floppy. He comes apart a little too easy for my liking, especially when you're putting any sort of pressure on to transform him. I really wish, because I almost guarantee you they were trying to market this as animated lockdown, but put him in the Star Raiders. So I really wish he had more of an animated style head. I mean, the shape and everything is there, just the face looks more to me like, what was it, his first movie figure? What was it, Revenge of the Fallen? That's what it reminds me. So more Revenge of the Fallen lockdown, more so than animated. I mean, he would fit in your animated, but if you're looking for that, characterization aesthetic, facial aesthetic, you're not going to get it here. I do like his accessories, the EMP. I already mentioned the hook, how I wish, it's cool we got it, but I wish it was integrated a little better. But besides that, he looks good. The color is good. And he is fun to mess with, as long as he doesn't fall apart in your hands. That's all I can really say. If you want to pick him up, like I said, he's still available. I'll put him next once again to have him handy. G1 animated Bumblebee. My G1 Bumblebee is nearby too, so they're right next to each other. And you can see him squaring off, but hopefully we get an animated Ratchet. If we get an animated Ratchet and a bulkhead that looks like animated bulkhead, we at least finish off the main Autobot cast. That would be really cool. I still have to get Prowl. But yeah, that'll about wrap things up. Decent figure, though a little frustrating at times. As I said, mixed feelings, but I don't hate him. And if you're a Lockdown fan, I think it'd be like, if you're a Lockdown fan, I would give him a try and pick him up. He seems to be easy to get. I got to get over not getting filled. But anyway, yeah, not unhappy with the purchase, but there is some mixed feelings. Rambling on too much. Thanks for all the support lately, and I will see you very soon with another review, which I believe is going to be Prime Cliff Jumper from the Target exclusive multi-pack. Catch you later, and thanks for docking.